Take Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada.
Registering your guns is just the first step towards taking away guns from everyone. That's never going to happen.
Effective immediately, it is no longer permitted to buy, sell, transport, import, or use military-grade assault weapons in this country.
I'm sorry about that, but there is no other way. There is no other way.
So we are about to check out something from Colion Noir. This right here also is about Obama wanting us to respond like Australia, who banned and confiscated guns. Now, I don't know about confiscating the guns, but I do know that Canada also banned guns. I didn't know that Australia not only banned guns, but are confiscating their guns. That is nuts. That's crazy. But if that happens here, trust me, hopefully nobody get that going. If somebody gets that going, they want a civil war. That's what they want. That's what they want. They want a civil war. They know it's going to happen. You cannot take away people's rights like that and not expect for them to be upset. Come on now. Ain't nobody who believe in the Second Amendment going to believe that you're coming to take their guns and you're not going to do anything to them after you take their guns. Why are you trying to disarm me? You're trying to disarm me for a reason. That's how a lot of people are going to be thinking. They're not going to allow you to do that. That's what the Second Amendment is for. So you can protect yourself and your family against that exact thing. This has happened to other nations before. I doubt people are going to allow that to happen here.
Anti-gun politicians and anti-gun groups love to gaslight gun owners by saying they're not trying to take your guns, we just want reasonable gun laws, and that the idea of a slippery slope is simply silly, and we're just fear-mongering. We're not fear-mongering. We just know the history of gun control in other countries and in this country, and can see that you all are trying to do the exact same thing here that they did over there. Don't believe me? Come along with me while I break this down. Recently,
just now saying the same thing, but again, if I was wrong, hey, listen, I've been wrong a lot, way more than I've been right, so I don't mind.
Obama did an interview with CBS Morning where he said this.
You know, in Australia, you had one mass shooting 50 years ago, and they said, oh, we're not doing that anymore. That is normally how you would expect a society to respond.
Anyone want to take a guess what they did in Australia with the guns?
Just 12 days later, the then Prime Minister John Howard pushed through a sweeping set of gun regulations, despite a lack of support from his rural constituency.
I'm sorry about that, but there is no other way. There is no other way.
Within a month, the government passed the National Firearms Agreement, transforming gun legislation in the country.
The hardest things to do in politics often involve taking away rights and privileges from your own supporters.
The tough new laws.
Okay, time out. Before we check the rest of this out, I just want to ask, are we comparing apples to apples here? When they took away Australia's guns, right? Confiscated their guns. Were they having extreme high crime in many different parts of their country the way that we do here? If they did, then that would have led to some sort of war. If they had those type of protections before, and there are a great number of individuals in their country who have illegal guns, and you have a great number of people in their country who equally have legal guns to protect themselves and their families and their businesses, then they realize that if the criminals still have the guns and we no longer have ours, then there's a problem, so we're not giving them up. That right there will cause an issue. If that wasn't the case, they already knew what type of suckers that they were dealing with in Australia. So they tried that. So if the U.S. ever try to try this, then they don't know the people they're dealing with. I think that the U.S. is smarter than that. Listen, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I get it. I don't think that they're that dumb.
Banned the sale and importation of all automatic and semi-automatic rifles and shotguns, and perhaps most significantly, called for a massive mandatory gun buyback. Australia's government confiscated and destroyed nearly 700,000 firearms, reducing the number of gun-owning households by half.
People used to say to me, you've violated my human rights by taking away my gun. And I'd say, look, I understand that, but will you please understand the argument? The greatest human right of all is to live a safe life.
New licensing requirements were adopted.
The greatest human right of all is to live a safe life. So we need to take your guns so you can be less safe, because that's our way of making sure you live a safe life, or that I live a safe life. because now I ain't got to worry about y'all if I ever want to take over.
Adopted, and a national firearms registry was established. The law says Australians need a genuine reason for having a firearm. It doesn't include self-defense. People must go through background checks and wait 28 days before they can buy a gun. The government also spent $375 million to buy back 640,000 civilian-owned guns and then destroyed them.
First, there was a mass shooting. Then background checks. Then they created a gun registry. Then they banned semi-autos, and then they confiscated them. That is what Obama is using as an example of what he thinks we should be doing here in the US, but then tells gun owners that the slippery slope thing is silly. Prime example, take Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada. In 2010, this is what he said to a group of people who were making the same arguments we are making right now with respect to these gun control measures being a slippery slope.
I'm shaking my head and looking goofy because I just now mentioned Canada doing exactly what they did. I didn't know that they were fighting. They was doing this since 2010, but God gracious.
Here is that the first step towards registering your guns is just the first step towards taking away guns from everyone. That's never going to happen because here in Canada we have a culture that has grown up with guns and that respects the need to go out into the wilderness and shoot things from time to time.
Now, fast forward to 2020, where he did this.
Effective immediately, it is no longer permitted to buy, sell, transport, import, or use military-grade assault weapons in this country.
Then fast forward again to 2022.
Hey, that sounds like taking people's stuff, bro. Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Where he did this.
Today, our national freeze on handguns is coming into force. From today forward, it is no longer legal to buy, sell, or transfer a handgun in Canada.
Oh, it gets worse. Fast forward again to 2023, and he's now trying to ban hunting rifles.
A 32% increase in violent crime, a 90% increase in gang crime. Murder rates now rising again this year, year after year. And what's his solution? To ban Grandpa Joe's hunting rifle. In fact, he wants to ban hundreds of thousands of hunting rifles and spend hundreds of millions of dollars doing it. Why won't he leave hunters alone and go after the real criminals?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, we've been very...
That was good. Hey, go after the real criminals, bruh. What the hell are y'all really trying to do? Why are y'all trying to rid everyone of their ability to defend themselves? That's all I want to know. Why are you trying to rid everyone of their ability to defend themselves? Because first it started off with military grade, right? No, first it started off with a lie, saying we will never ban your guns here in Canada. That's them other places. And then you go 10 years later, oh, we taking all military grade weapons and you can't use them, trade them, shoot them, you have nothing to do with them at all. Matter of fact, we're going to buy them back and destroy them. And then you go a couple of more years later and they talking about handguns. And then they talking about they're banning transferring and using handguns. Now they talking about hunting rifles. What the hell else can you do? What's next? Butcher knives? Huh? Hot water? With what? Rocks? We're making sure you don't have any sharp, blunt objects on your project. Or we're taking them. Or you live in a brick house, you gotta go. We gotta crumble it, get rid of it, turn it into dust, because you might break one of those bricks one day and crack one of us upside the head. And we scared. Yo, this is not looking good for Canada. If we want to look anywhere, we need to look over there.
Very clear that we are not targeting law-abiding hunters and fishers. Mr. Speaker, we will continue to take the necessary measures to keep Canadians safe while respecting the rights of law-abiding Canadians. That's what Canadians expect. That's what we've been doing.
Leader of the Opposition.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I get my information from the amendment that his government tabled in the committee.
That's right.
And I have it right here. A list of the firearms that he wants to ban includes the Webley and Scott wild fowl gun. Fowl is in wild turkeys and wild ducks. That's right in the list that his government put forward of guns he wants to ban. Mr. Speaker, why is he more concerned with protecting wild turkeys from hunters than he is concerned about protecting Canadians from criminals?
This is literally the same progression that anti-gun politicians and the anti-gun lobby are trying to do in America. It's so blatant now, it's laughable, but it's not really funny.
Are they really trying to do this in America? I mean, be honest. I get it. Listen. I've seen some things, all right? And I do realize, because people on the left do not see it this way. I communicate with a great deal of people from the left, and they do not see it this way, all right? I mean, I'm talking about the minions. I'm talking about the people who are being used and don't know the real agenda. Okay, let me put that caveat out there. I'm just going to put that caveat out because obviously they don't know the real agenda, because if they did, I doubt they will continue to vote the way that they're voting. You know what? I take that back, because some people was cut off their nose just to spite their face. And listen, that's one of them old school sayings. I know what it mean. Can't really break it down, but I do know what it mean.
Because there are so many people that believe these politicians when they say they're not trying to ban guns and that they just want common sense gun measures. I just walked you through real world examples of this lie in other countries. And the leaders in our country are literally saying we should use the same countries that ban guns as an example of what we should be doing here. The thing is, they think you're so stupid and so slow, they don't think you'll pick up on that. They think you'll just hear, oh, we should take into account what Australia did with their guns and they don't have mass shootings anymore, and therefore we should take that as an example and use it here in America.
I don't know if people sound like that, but people definitely have logic like that. That's their logic, 1,000%. It might seem like he's making fun of them, but he's absolutely 1,000% spot on, bro. Spot on. Because all they will compare is they took guns, now look at the crime. What's the crime rate? What's the crime rate? How many people getting shot? Exactly. We need to do what they doing. Point blank period. Not understanding that you about to get got. You will have no protection. Shut the hell up. Stop getting so loud and standing up for stuff that you don't understand. You are voting for this and don't even realize it. This is what you cap for on a day-to-day basis and don't realize it. Wake the hell up, man. That's it. Just wake up.
They don't expect you to actually know what happened in places like Australia. They don't expect you to pay attention to what they're doing in Canada right now. Hell, even our current president sat down with the former New Zealand Prime Minister and said that we needed guidance from her on gun control when she was the Prime Minister.
Which is, I think, a fairly big deal for all of us, and we need your guidance, and we're, it's a pleasure to see you in person.
The same New Zealand.
We need your guidance, and it's a pleasure to see you in person. If I had the energy and these cameras running around.
New Zealand Prime Minister who did this.
Today I'm announcing that New Zealand will ban all military-style semi-automatic weapons. We will ban all high-capacity magazines. We will ban all parts with the ability to convert semi-automatic or any other type of firearm into a military-style semi-automatic weapon.
Look, the
only thing they did was pass down a memo saying, don't trust your people. That's it. They passed down a memo to all of their people and they said, don't trust your people. Let's find a way to make sure that we can protect ourselves against our own people. All right? If we can do that as the government, you're the leader of where you're from. When they have their meetings, this is the type of stuff that comes from it. Protect yourself from your people. That's the real, you're worried about people trying to invade your country. No, it's the people there. And the people with the guns, they will do it. Paranoia, paranoia, paranoia. Let me tell you something. Not everybody should be smoking weed. Okay? Y'all too damn paranoid. Okay? Y'all are, man. I'm talking about these people who run these countries. Y'all are paranoid as hell because all you want to do is make people weaker so that you can take over. You're so afraid that somebody's going to stop you from having all the power that you want. Listen, stop being greedy, first of all. You will die at the hands of your own greed. Period. You will. That's God's law. Like, it's going to happen. Leave people the hell alone, man. When you mess with God's people, you're really messing with your own future. You're messing with your own peace. Leave God's people alone. The people who are acting up, yeah, handle them accordingly. Definitely do something about them. Even treat them fairly, according to the crimes that they commit. Do that too. But at the end of the day, the people who are helping your country grow, the taxpayers, the good doers, the people with jobs and careers, the people who are starting families and growing your nation, you should be giving them awards. You should be protecting them 1,000%. You should make sure and encourage them to want to protect themselves more. As a matter of fact, let's be greedy with it. Let's be a little greedy with it. Even for your economy, it will be good. Guns is big business. Now, if you got a bunch of good people in your country, yo, go out there, protect yourself. Take some classes. Show your family gun safety. All right? Show your family gun safety. Make it better that way. Don't make it better by trying to make people weak. It's just ridiculous, man.
Only reason this hasn't happened in America is because the U.S. is run by its people, not soft tyrants and dictators. Long story short, our leaders have to convince us to give up our 2A rights because our 2A rights are protected in our Constitution. So the only way the anti-gun lobby and its politicians can get to our 2A rights is if we give it to them. And the way they do this is by lying to you and saying it's for your safety.
Yeah, it's for your safety. And yet we're spending billions of dollars to help Ukraine at the moment. But what I'm hearing right now, and shout out to Lisa Marie, what I'm hearing right now is that they're taking that money and they are arming their citizens. So here's the joke. Everyone in our nation need to get away from the guns. Leave the guns alone. But everyone in the country that we are currently funding, use our money to arm your citizens so that they can be safe. What the hell type of stuff is that? That's ridiculous, bro. It's absolutely like, if you can make sense out of that, then I would shut the hell up. I really would. I just want somebody to make sense out of it. And the reason why I'm saying I just want somebody to make sense out of it, because what y'all don't see is that this is not an echo chamber. My channel is not an echo chamber, nor do I want it to be.